Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, I don't know when you'll be watching this, but making it on a Friday morning, so I'm sure today there's a lot of people happy that the weekend's almost here. I'm going down to Pensacola again tomorrow, Saturday morning. I'm just gonna bounce around, pick up a few last minute things that I need to take to Woodstock with me, and that'll be coming up here pretty soon. By the time you watch this video, it's probably going to be a week or less until I leave. Starting to get pretty excited about that. Had a phenomenal meeting yesterday with my designer. We knocked out 3 full designs for shirts, so getting really close on that. Now it's just a matter of just a few nuts and bolts, and I'll be able to put them out there very, very soon. I don't know if I'll be able to get that done before Woodstock, but by the time I get back, for sure on the shirts. Anyway, wanted to talk today about the 5 biggest raw vegan mistakes, in my opinion. I do videos like this every day, so if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now, and then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. These are, like I say, this is just according to me, sort of my opinion, and I don't know if they're actually the 5 biggest mistakes, but I think they are 5 mistakes that a lot of people make, and I think they bear repeating or bear talking about. If I haven't already talked about them in previous videos, which I probably have. As somebody said the other day, it's okay to repeat things. Yeah, repetition is good. I think sometimes like things like that, things like the subject of food and health and whatever, but pretty much anything that, they can just slip into our consciousness the more they're repeated, and then that just helps. One of the first things I always see is just being too hard on themselves, expecting too much in the beginning, feeling guilt at every little turn, everything that they feel like they're doing wrong. And this kind of and unrealistic expectations too. They hear all these stories and all these fantastic stories in your groups and in threads on videos, and you hear all this stuff about this has been healed. I love that word, healed. The raw food, healing this. This has been healed. That's been healed. Teeth have grown back. Cut off limbs have grown back. This has been done. This has been done. And I think people sometimes go into this raw vegan lifestyle with some unrealistic expectations, like it's some sort of magic. Now, it is pretty magical, some of the stuff it'll do, but don't be hard on yourself and don't expect too much too quick. Now, you probably will see a lot, but just keep it in order. Don't get too flipped out on that stuff. But don't like get tripped up on the guilt thing. You're not going to be perfect. None of us is perfect. It takes a while to learn this lifestyle. So just be rational like that. Learn what you're doing. You're going to make your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes and move on, and don't get caught up in all that guilt. The second one I would say is just a really simple one people talk about all the time: not eating enough. Not eating enough, especially in the beginning. If you listen, once you do plant-based, once you're solid on low-fat, plant-based, once you're doing very high raw, maybe when you're doing fully raw, then you can start getting into the next level of stuff. Personally, I'm not all big on the hoo-ha about, oh, you really don't need to eat that much food. If you're needing to eat that much food, you're not absorbing. Absorbing's another one of those kind of little hooey words that you hear out there in the raw vegan world, and it's always some reason, well, if you're absorbing right, you can eat less, but you need to eat a lot of food on this lifestyle, especially when you're eating low-fat, high-carb. It's easy if you're like jacking up the fat. It's easy if you're scarfing down a bunch of nuts and avocados every day and getting lots and lots of fat in there because there's calories in that fat. But if you're eating low fat, high carb, eating a lot of fruit in there, you have to eat a lot. I mean, you really have to eat a lot. That's how my weight plummeted when I first got into this lifestyle. I didn't eat near enough. And after a while, I realized I'm just low blood sugar. And it wasn't like I was and you have to be careful and you have to be vigilant about that, because it wasn't like I was sitting there going, okay, I'm going to restrict my food, or, oh, I need to lose weight, so I'm going to restrict. It was just simply, as I was eating healthier, my stomach would shrink, and I could become, your stomach will adjust. And as I was eating fruits and vegetables, I wasn't eating as much, but it wasn't like I was sitting around hungry all the time. I didn't know how much I needed to eat. once I turned that around, I put some healthy weight back on. I felt good all the time. I didn't get the head rushes when I stood up anymore. So you have to eat enough on this lifestyle. If you're not eating enough, you're not getting the nutrients that you need, because all that we're getting from this plant-based lifestyle is based on us eating enough calories to get all these various macronutrients and micronutrients in there. So you got to eat. You got to eat. The third one I would say is, and I talk about this one all the time too, is blindly following others. Just putting your health, putting what you're going to eat, putting everything about this into some guru's hands, or just into some group's hands, or just into a certain, mindset. I don't follow anybody on this lifestyle. I take little things from everybody, but I'm not part of there's like little groups. Everybody's part of their certain person. They all kind of either have their mindset, their book, or their guru that they follow, and they fall into this little denomination here. Me, none. I don't follow anybody. People always ask me, who do you follow? Who do you follow? I don't follow anybody. I'm not a follower. This is my health. This is this thing here, whatever it is what's taking me through this incarnation on earth. So I want this to be as healthy as possible. I want it to be as strong as possible. And I don't put that responsibility in somebody else's hands. Now, that doesn't mean when I say I don't follow anybody, it doesn't mean I don't look to other people. It doesn't mean I don't draw knowledge from other people. It just means that I absorb all that in. I use it, I take it and I weigh information. But in the end, I always make rational decisions for myself, based on my circumstances, just based on who I am. So that's the biggest thing out there. You don't follow people blindly, because there's a lot of people that are that are just leading people into crazy areas out there. I see people, just blindly following just some ridiculous sources, to be quite honest, and we'll leave it at that. Let's see, what's number 4? Number 4, too much fat. Too much fat. It's all about being raw. Excuse me a second while I have a little sip of smoothie. They get so caught up in the raw part of it, They hear everybody talking about, well, I'm 53 days fully raw. I'm 40 days fully raw. I'm this many days fully raw. They keep hearing the fully raw, fully raw, fully raw, raw is law. And all that sticks in their head is the raw part. The vegan part is second. Everything else, plant-based, just being clean, high carb, clean, all those words are secondary. And it all becomes about being raw. And the sacrifice there is so many, just so they can stay fully raw. They incorporate huge amounts of fat, and they're not doing themselves any favor, because I was just watching. There's a couple of videos out there, and I was watching something else the other day. It's not a video I've shared before, but it's of a couple of vegans that have had heart attacks, strokes, and it's even raw people have had problems with this. And it's simply because it's fat. It's too much fat. It doesn't matter that it's good fat. We don't need to be just gobbling down fat all the time. Now, I'm not, militant on the certain amount. I pretty much do overall, over the course of a year's time, between going up lower and higher on that, I probably do stick around between 10 to 15%. So even if you're up, when I'm saying about this, I'm not, like I say, not trying to be militant or extreme. Even if you're in the 15 to 18%, that's not super high, but when people are just like blasting those nut dishes every night, or eating multiple avocados every day, that's just too much fat. And in my opinion, that's a big mistake on this lifestyle. And last but not least, which we have talked about all over and over and over, infinitum, or to infinity and beyond, is not having a plan. Not having a plan, especially the people that are struggling on this lifestyle, especially the people that have yo-yoed, have gone back and forth, have failed, have started over. This is my third time trying to do raw, blah, 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 blah. After a certain amount of time, it's almost like I just don't want to hear from somebody anymore. If they're not putting in the work themselves, if they're too lazy to actually, make some effort, and like I say, not everybody needs a plan. And even the people I'm saying should have a plan. It doesn't have to be detailed down to, okay, I'm going to eat it this time, I'm going to eat exactly much this, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have to be detailed. You just need to have some sort of guidance in your self-guidance and an idea of how you're proceeding, and just instead of waking up blindly every day. So if you are struggling on this lifestyle, or if you've failed and restarted, failed and restarted, failed and restarted over and over and over, and you don't have a plan going in, well then you're just really kind of wasting your time. Have a plan, write it down. Have a plan, write it down. Anyhow, as always, these are just the opinions of a semi-senile old man, not on a mountain anymore, around people more. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Lots of love, guys. Peace.